なるほどね。おかえりなさい. Welcome back to the channel. What are we doing today? We are actually reading the last part of The Autumn Wind Blows. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. We got Fubuki chilling in the back, ready to be slept with? That sounds off. Cuddled with? I need to find a different way of expressing that, but waiting for after this video. Nice sip of water before. Yes, refreshing. Oh. 水を飲むの後ですっきりな気分だ。すっきりした。Oh, don't load on me, game. You're seriously doing this? I'm trying to read something. And my internet connection is not allowing me to do so. Am I even connected? I am. Very much connected. Oh, now you wanna load. I was about to say let's restart the game. Cause that usually works, turning it off and then back on. Hello. Would you like... Fucking hell. That's so frustrating. Due to its geographical location, the sun rises very early in Wonhan City, even in this season. I checked the time and see that it's now 7:50 AM. The sky is already very bright and the sun feels warm on my body. Many diligent white-collar workers have also begun their journey through the morning rush hour. Waishatsu de white collar. Kiri, Omu, and I are seated, eating breakfast quietly at a food stall across the street from the entrance of the warehouse. They are both quiet people, and their calm demeanor makes me feel like I'm the only one who's feeling nervous about our upcoming mission. Hey, do you two think our mission will be successful today? Huh? It's broad daylight and quite a lot of people are coming and going around here. Will we really be able to sneak in? As the saying goes, it's easier to do this type of thing on a dark and windy night. Everything rests on Shizukara. Didn't the boss say... Wait, is it Omu? Wasn't there this other guy? I forgot now. I mean, it doesn't matter. This guy is gonna have a deep voice as well. Didn't the boss say that he'll distract the guards and get their attention? I wonder how his preparations went. Chef, 2 large bowls of wontons with extra cilantro. While we discuss whether we can infiltrate the warehouse, 2 people wearing the same uniform as the security guards of the warehouse across the street sit down next to us. Sorry. Oh, this is a long text. After eavesdropping on their conversation with the stall owner, we learn that the older man is called Tora and the younger man is called Boo. They have come here to have breakfast before changing shifts with the guards across the street, which means we will have to follow them when we're trying to sneak in later. After thinking of this, I focus all my attention on their conversation to try to find something that we can use. Boo, you don't look well today. Is anything wrong? Did you not sleep well last night? Ugh, don't mention it. I didn't sleep at all last night. So, you young people sure do party hard. Take care of yourself though. Tora, please don't make fun of me. The fatty and the others will tease me forever if they hear about it. Fine then. Well, what happened? Do you know that the place I'm renting isn't very soundproof? Yeah, you mentioned it before. Last night, a group of brats appeared from nowhere and just had to play a spirit summoning game in the room next to me in the middle of the night. They then told ghost stories there all night long. You're an adult now. How can you still be scared of ghosts? Don't be superstitious. I glance at them from the corner of my eye and I see that Boo seems to be reliving some horrifying memories. His face is pale and I can see fear in his eyes. The problem isn't the horror story, but the spirit summoning game called Candle Circle that they were playing. In this game, a group of people sit down in a circle and take turns telling ghost stories. Each person lights up the candle in their hands before starting and blows it out after telling their story. But if the candle goes out while they're telling the story, something bad will happen. You know the details so well that it's almost as if you were playing with them. It's because they were so loud. I was filled with despair because I couldn't do anything about it. Alright, I understand. What ghost stories did they tell? Tora at the table next to me just said what I was thinking. When I heard Boo start telling ghost stories, I also became interested. Kiri looks at me and seems to realize something. She smiles and shakes her head, but she also puts down the spoon in her hand and starts to observe the table next to us. There were so many. For example, one story was about a man called Jack and his girlfriend Marie. Their class was about to fly overseas for their graduation trip. However, the moment he got on the plane, Jack felt dizzy and saw something incredible. The plane would explode after taking off. This story isn't scary. It even sounds a little familiar. I think I've read about it somewhere. I'll tell you another one. This one left quite an impression on me. There was a woman called Marie, and her husband was a taxi driver called Jack. One day, Marie suddenly woke up in the middle of the night and realized that Jack had already come home. However, instead of going to bed, he was squatting on the balcony alone and looking down. Out of curiosity, Marie asked him what he was doing. However, she didn't expect Jack to mysteriously pull her to the balcony and whisper to her, "Look at our car. Can you see a woman in red clothes in the back seat?" At first, Marie thought Jack was imagining things, but when she looked down, she really did see a woman in red clothes holding a child in the back seat of their taxi. And when Marie looked at her, the woman suddenly turned her head and looked directly at Marie through the car window. They were living on the 10th floor and it was the middle of the night. It's already quite incredible that they could see the car, let alone see someone sitting inside the car. Right? Marie was frightened that she fainted. Was so frightened that she fainted. And it was already the next day when she woke up. She told Jack what happened last night, but he didn't seem to remember anything. He told her that she had a nightmare because she was worrying about too many things during the day. After that, Marie also treated this as a nightmare. A few days later, Marie reheats Jack's dinner for him because he comes home late, but his meal is getting cold again and he still hasn't come to the dining room. One day, Marie went to their bedroom to look for Jack. As soon as she opened the bedroom door, she saw Jack sitting on the railing of the balcony. He gave Marie a strange smile and muttered, "They're calling me. They're calling me." After that, he turned around and fell off the building. Later, Marie learned from the taxi company's employees who visited her to express their condolences that the car the company arranged for Jack to drive had been involved in a car accident and killed a pregnant woman. At night, after Marie sees off everyone who had come to express their condolences, she walks to the balcony of the bedroom and looks down. She sees a woman in red clothes with a child in her arms, standing in the open space downstairs, and Jack is standing next to her. Jack waves at Marie and says, "Marie, come. Come join us." Well, this one's scary, right? I started dreaming of red clothes whenever I closed my eyes last night. I guess this one's okay. It has a retro horror story feeling to it, but I just don't get why all female ghosts have to wear red clothes. Tora, I won't talk to you anymore if you keep saying things like that. I'm scared to death here, and you're just picking on me. Hey, I just wanted to divert your attention. So you were scared by this? No, something scarier happens after that. They tell another 7 or 8 ghost stories like that, and then suddenly, it becomes completely silent in the room next door. Out of curiosity, I put my ear against the wall to listen carefully. It is so quiet on the other side that it seems like everyone had disappeared into thin air. Just as I was about to go back to bed, I heard several loud banging sounds. It was like someone was smashing the wall forcibly. And then I heard a man scream. A scream? What did he say when he was screaming? Boo's voice trembles, like he is extremely distressed, which makes me feel the most curious I've ever been in my life. This man has a strong local accent. I couldn't understand what he was shouting. It just felt miserable, extremely miserable. But I think I heard him say, "Don't come over here." I'm not sure if that's what he said exactly. The screaming continued for a while, and then the room next to me became quiet. I couldn't hear anyone speaking anymore. Tora, you know I'm a timid person. There's no way I would dare to go over to take a look, so I covered my head and waited until dawn. When I walked past the room next to mine in the morning today, I saw talisman paper densely pasted on the door. Talisman paper? What does it look like? Is it like the yellow paper we see in those exorcism movies? I didn't dare to take a closer look. I was too scared. I quickly made my way to work without taking a closer look. After eavesdropping on their conversation, I lean over towards Kiri and start discussing things with her in a quiet voice. Even luck is on our side. The horror stories were doing us a favor. Something feels fishy about this to me. What do you mean? Well, I think it's too much of a coincidence. Tora finishes off his breakfast very quickly and puts down his bowl and chopsticks after about 10 minutes. Meanwhile, Boo is obviously worn out after the events of the previous night. He barely has 2 bites before he stands and follows Tora to cross the street and change shifts with their colleagues. Kiri and I exchange a glance. We stand up in a hurry and get Omu to join us when we follow them. However, all 3 of us stop at the same time when we are about 5 meters away from the warehouse door. The 4 security guards at the warehouse door are completing the procedures to change shifts, and I don't think we can just waltz in like that. "Don't come over here!" Suddenly, a miserable male voice disturbs the peaceful atmosphere of the early morning. It's so sudden that we can't even tell where it came from. Boo pauses for a moment, then he grabs Tora's hand and shouts emotionally, "That's him! That's him! That's the voice I heard! Oh my god, don't come over here!" The 2 security guards who are changing shifts with them obviously have no idea about what's going on. To prevent Boo's strange behavior from attracting an audience, they quickly take Boo behind the shrubs next to the door with Tora, leaving the warehouse door half open and completely defenseless in front of us. Kiri suddenly grabs my hand and takes this opportunity to sneak through the warehouse door. Omu follows us quickly, and the 3 of us run behind some shelves in the corner of the warehouse to hide. Before long, the security guards outside seem to manage to calm Boo down and finish changing shifts. Through the gaps in the shelves, we vaguely see a person that looks like Tora walk over and slam the warehouse door shut. That miserable male voice sounds so familiar. Could it be Shizukara's voice? It should be Shizukara. Didn't the boss tell him to sow confusion for us? Does that mean Shizukara is also responsible for terrifying that security guard called Boo last night? Now that you mention it, Shizukara did leave mysteriously with some of our brothers last night. I didn't expect someone who looks a little slow-witted like Shizukara to be able to plan ahead like this. I take a look at the warehouse while I talk. The incandescent lamp on the ceiling looks old. The lighting isn't very bright, but it doesn't stop us from seeing the general layout clearly. This warehouse doesn't have an open layout that allows people to see where goods are stored clearly. There is even a wall close to us. This is a small warehouse that has been rented out. When I staked out this place yesterday, I managed to get my hands on the floor plan from the reception. As he speaks, he pulls out a floor plan from his backpack and hands it to us. In the dim lighting, we confirm where we are first. Judging from where the gate is, we should be in the southwest corner of the warehouse. The layout of the warehouse is like a big square with a smaller square inside of it. And only the area in the middle is really used for storage. This area is further divided into 8 spaces of varying sizes. The layout of the warehouse is like a big square with a smaller square inside it. At the outer layer, I just got deja vu for a second, sorry. And the outer layer we are in. God damn it, this was sentence. The layout of the warehouse is like a big square with a smaller square inside it. And the outer layer we are in is a corridor between the 2 squares that connects different warehouse doors. Man, that was tough getting through that sentence. The corners are also used to store miscellaneous items and unimportant goods. The red crowned... Oh, by the way, I didn't even change the accents for Chrome. I'm starting to get tired. You can see it's dark outside. I have excuses. The red crowned cranes you're looking for should be in one of these warehouses. But I'm not sure which one is the right one. Shush! I hear footsteps coming towards us. It should be the patrolling security guards. Shall we observe the security patrol before deciding what to do? Yes. Yes. Not... Yeah. Yes! We'll observe their patrol patterns before taking action. We squat patiently in the corner and take our time to observe everything that's happening in the warehouse. We notice that the security guards have a fixed patrol routine and go on patrol once every half an hour. The 4 guards divide themselves into 2 groups and start patrolling in opposite directions. They will meet once near another entrance in the southwest side before they continue to move forward separately. The 2 people coming towards us will go around the northeast corner before disappearing from our sight. This warehouse should have 4 sets of doors. They probably came in from the side doors on the northeast side. After squatting for about 45 minutes, after the security guards disappear from our sight on their second patrol, Kiri and Omu coincidentally stand up at the same time. We can start now. We can start now. He probably said it as well. After hearing Kiri's words, I stand up quickly and intend to follow them. To my surprise, I black out momentarily right after I stand up and almost fall over. Fortunately, Kiri manages to catch me in time. I've been squatting for a little too long there. Kiri helps me stand, then she pats my shoulder and says something sincerely. It looks like I'll need to do more exercise with you later. That's not necessary, really. My blood pressure is just a little low after squatting for so long. In Wanhan City, the number of people who want to take me hiking, to the beach, and to training camps is large enough to form a team, which really makes me feel the goodwill of the city. However, I turned down Kiri's kind offer so that I don't end up exercising 24 hours a day. After walking out from behind the shelves, we arrive at the storage area in the middle. There are 2 doors really close to us. The warehouse door on our left is slightly closer to us and it's locked. and it is locked with a chain that has been wrapped twice around the steel door bolt. This form of defense is solid and down to earth. The warehouse door on our right is slightly further away from us. It is installed with an electronic code lock, and this warehouse looks like a place where valuables are stored. Pick one of them. If we're lucky, we'll find them immediately. Since they are using this place to imprison wild animals, I choose... Well, in the beginning of this entire story, we chose the bottom option, which says do not pawn. So we're also going to choose the bottom option here. And also, the trolley problem, we decided to kill off those 5 old men, which were on the right track. The wild animals should be the most valuable goods of this organization, so I think that they will be kept in a more tightly guarded warehouse. I think it should be the electronic lock on the right. I'll agree with you then, since I don't know which one is right either. I don't mind since I'll be picking a lock anyway. Do you need me and Kiri to keep a watch for you? No. In this short time we've been talking, I see that Omu has already taken out a roll of transparent tape. He pulled off a piece and lightly presses it onto the number pad attached to the wall beside the door. After sweeping it back and forth with his palm a few times, he peels off the transparent tape and holds it up to the light. I can see traces of fingerprints on several numbers. It looks like there are 7 digits. This type of lock usually requires an 8-digit password. It looks like the number 8 appears twice in this password. Why? If you look carefully, the fingerprint on 8 is clearer than the other ones. Yet there is some overlap. Don't you think it looks like it was pressed twice in a row? You make some sense. How can we determine the order of these numbers then? Omu doesn't answer me. Instead, he looked at the fingerprints on the tape a few more times. I usually need to perform a few more procedures, but I don't think I need to this time, because this password is a birthday. Ooh. After he types something quickly on the keyboard, I hear a click that sounds like something opening. Kiri then pulls hard on the warehouse door and opens it halfway. Do you now understand why various apps don't let you use birthdays as passwords? I nod to express my understanding. But it's really convenient to use your birthday as your password. We are dumbfounded as soon as we enter the warehouse. Who would have imagined that the goods stored in this warehouse would be so valuable? There's another door in this warehouse, as well as another security guard who is sitting behind the desk at the door. He is munching on a chicken drumstick in his hand, seriously, when we enter the room. The moment he raises his head and meets our eyes, his eyes glaze over for a moment. After that, he reacts quickly, holding up the drumstick with one hand and quickly reaching for the walkie-talkie on the other side of the table with his other hand. Kiri reacts quickly, dashing forward with quick steps to strike him with a blow as fast as the wind. After the security guard falls over, she kindly cushions his head with her foot before it hits the ground. Do people really knock people out with a karate chop like in the movies? I don't know, because I hit them with the handle of my whip. I look down at the security guard, who is now lying peacefully on the ground with his eyes closed, and the dirty drumstick that fell on the ground before it could be put away, shedding some insincere tears for them in my heart. After Omu closes the warehouse door, he walks over and looks at the After Omu closes the warehouse door, he walks over and looks at the security guard on the ground. Let's finish this as soon as possible. There'll be trouble if he wakes up. As he speaks, he searches the security guard and finds an access card. He then walks to the door behind the desk and swipes the access control system on the wall next to him. The door opens with a click. When we walk in, I find that my experiences are indeed useful. There really are lots of valuables stored here. There really are lots of valuable stored here. There are safes lined up in a row here. If Shizukara is here, even he would know that it's not possible to store 2 red-crowned cranes in here. It seems that we've entered the wrong room. Let's try another door. I just knew I wouldn't be lucky enough to pick the right one on my first guess. The security guard who was eating the drumstick is still unconscious when we go back the way we came, and we walk around him to the door. Omu quietly opens a crack in the door. After seeing that nobody is there, he motions for us to quickly slip out and run to the door locked with a chain on the left. Omu takes a toolbox out of his backpack. After he opens it, I see all sorts of tools, ranging from slender steel wires to various types of screwdrivers. He picks up 2 slender steel wires and inserts them into the keyhole, unlocking the lock after fiddling around with them for a few times. Omu catches the slipping chain quickly with lightning fast reflexes so that it doesn't fall onto the ground and attracts the security guards. The problem with this kind of lock is that once we enter this door, the security guards will definitely know it has been opened the next time they patrol this area. If that happens, there are only 2 possible outcomes. Either the security guard locks it again from the outside, trapping us inside, or they will notice that someone has entered the room and entered to catch us. I prefer the second scenario because I'm confident in my fighting skills. It'll be more troublesome if we're locked inside. It won't be a big problem. Before coming here, the boss and I agreed that I'd send him a text message every half an hour. If we don't leave this place within 2 hours, or if I don't send him a text message within a half an hour, he will assume something has gone wrong and come here to save us. However what? If that happens, both sides will suffer great losses. People are bound to get hurt or die in fights. Please don't make something so terrible sound so commonplace. No, now that Somu's got our backs, we better not waste any time here. Let's try to find the red-crowned cranes before we get caught. Well, if we can complete our mission before we're discovered, we can avoid having any direct conflicts. The scene that greets me after I push open the doors and enter the room is not what I expected. I quickly estimate that the empty room has an area of around 200 square meters, because that's the first thing we think of when we enter a room. There is a door on the wall opposite us. On the floor are some marks leading to the door. Kiri kneels down to check this out. This looks like the droppings of some kind of bird, but I can't tell if it's from the red-crowned cranes. This is a good sign. At least we have a direction now. We run towards the door on the other side. This door is also locked with a chain, which is completely ineffective to Omu. After we enter the next room, we find ourselves in an empty room that is about 200 to 300 square meters big. Was also my second guess. The only difference is that there are 2 doors, one on the wall in front of us and the other on our right. And there is something that looks like the droppings we saw earlier on the floor leading to both doors. We found this trail again, but there are 2 trails this time. Could this become kind of trap? Kiri walks over and inspects them carefully. This shouldn't be a trap. The droppings are darker on one side. Judging from dryness, these droppings have been here for longer. The droppings on the other side are still semi-dry, so they should be relatively fresh. It looks like both directions may lead us to animals, but I'm not sure which direction is the right one. Time doesn't wait for anyone. Let's pick one randomly and see where it leads to. I think Omu makes a lot of sense. We won't get anywhere just by standing here, so I choose. Well, there's no way the bottom option is wrong again. And it's semi-dry. So, yeah, let's go there. I look down at the 2 trails of droppings and suddenly have a bold thought. It's been several days since Kiri rescued that red-crowned crane. Is it possible that they might have moved from their original location? Why don't we take a look at the right side? Omu rushes over and opens the lock. I open the door and find that it is completely dark inside. Before my eyes can adjust to the darkness, the smell of bird feathers mixed with droppings assault my senses. After Omu turns on the torch on his mobile phone and waves it around a few times in his room, After Omu turns on the torch of his mobile phone and waves it around a few times in this room, the originally quiet warehouse is filled with the sound of chirping birds and wings flapping violently against cages. Kiri walks over to the wall and fumbles around before finding the light switch. We are shocked by the scene in front of us. After the lights are turned on, there are hundreds of different birds in cages of various sizes. It's impossible for the three of us to save all these birds. Omu looks at the flock of birds in front of us and frowns. Then he turns to look at me. Can you find those two red-crowned cranes? Let's save our target first. Red-crowned cranes have very obvious characteristics. Let me see. I have an itch in my leg. I move quickly through the various bird cages. It looks like people don't clean them every day, as the aisles between the cages are filled with feathers and droppings. This shows that these little ones are living in a terrible environment. Ah, I found them! In a large cage on the inner side, I see two particularly conspicuous blots of red. I walk over and see that there are many birds inside the cage. Sorry. Most of them have tattered wings, and two red-crowned cranes are among them, among us. Just as I am about to call Kiri over, I notice that she is constantly checking the status of other birds in various cages. Kiri? I don't think we should just save the two red-crowned cranes. All the lives here belong to nature and shouldn't be used as capital in human transactions. But if it's just the three of us... Suddenly, I remember that the police gave me a mobile number that I can use to contact them if I discover anything. Somu warned us earlier that any rash actions we take may make the other party kill all the hostages. So I was thinking of saving the little red-crowned cranes before making a police report. It looks like I'll need to bring this plan forward now. Kiri, I don't think the three of us can save all these birds. Even if nobody stops us, we still wouldn't be able to move them out of here. Why don't we let the police deal with this? After all, we have sufficient evidence right now. That's what I was thinking. I should have thought of this earlier. Since this is a gang that specializes in wildlife trafficking, there's no way they would only catch a few animals, especially when they have rented such a large warehouse. We've all been nervous these days, so nobody really thought about this carefully. Yeah. Kiri suddenly falls silent, while I'm taking photos as evidence to send to the police. I look up and see her staring behind a pile of bird cages. She motions for me to be quiet just as I'm about to ask her what's wrong. Shush! Listen carefully. Can you hear the sound of animals? Isn't this place filled with animals? No, not birds. It's the sound of beasts. It sounds really familiar. It sounds like a young cheetah calling for help. I hold my breath and listen carefully. Sure enough, amidst the chirping of birds and flapping of wings, I hear some subtle cat-like calls. Kiri rushes over quickly and finds a door behind the bird cages after pushing them aside. The door is not locked and is ajar. Light fills the room after she pushes the door open, revealing a cruel scene to us. There's a group of mammals in this warehouse. Unlike the birds outside, they seem to have been locked up here for a long time. They are so skinny that they look like skin and bones, and their fur has no luster. Kiri turns on the torch of her mobile phone and looks through the cages while searching for the origin of the sound. Eventually, she finds a thin cheetah that looks sick and in poor condition. After seeing Kiri, it raises its head and makes a few weak sounds, which are the same as the cries for help we just heard. Kiri circles around the cage trying to find the lock to set it free. Suddenly, I hear a burst of footsteps outside and the loud shouting of security guards. There's an intruder! Everyone, come here quickly to search for them! We immediately calm down and listen carefully to the movement outside. Judging from the footsteps and voices, it seems that all 4 patrolling security guards are coming. Hey, this is warehouse number 2. We need backup. We need backup. Someone is calling for reinforcements. If we don't do anything, their numbers will keep increasing. Omu glances at his mobile phone and looks at us anxiously. The boss told us to leave quickly. Several vehicles belonging to the security company are moving in this direction. Quick, we have to leave now, or we won't be able to get away. I pull Kiri's hand and notice that she is looking at all these cages painfully. Omu, please take Lugi's... Yeah, sorry. Omu! Ugh. Please take Lugi away from here first. I'm sorry. I disagree. It's too dangerous for you to stay here alone, Kiri. Seeing that the security guards are about to rush in, I make up my mind to ignore objections. Seeing that the security guards are about to rush in, I make up my mind to ignore Kiri's objections. I forcefully grab her and start leaving. Omu follows closely beside us, trying to convince Kiri as we try to get outside as quickly as possible. I know you feel uncomfortable about this, but we might not be able to get that cheetah outside safely even if you bring it with us now. But where there is life, there is hope. Omu, you use such classic lines when you comfort people. You must not be very scared since you can still roast me. I'm just pretending to be optimistic. I understand. Kiri calms down after we run outside the room with all the birds in it. I look at the door and see that the security guards seem to be outside the door. If we rush outside now, we will definitely end up face to face with them. The room over there! Let's hide in here first. Before I can ask her why, she runs inside, dragging me with her. As soon as the door closes, I hear the sound of the warehouse door being opened forcefully outside. I'm so scared that I don't dare to breathe. All I can do is listen quietly to what's going on outside. The door of the warehouse number 4 has been opened. Check if any of the customers' goods are missing. You and you, check warehouse number 5 in the back. Capture any suspicious people you see and don't hold back. Kiri stealthily opens the door slightly. After seeing the security guards running into the warehouse with the birds in it, she tells us to run outside quickly. Now's our chance! We run back along the route we followed on our way inside. All the warehouse doors along the way are open, so we run to the outermost doors without any hindrance and end up face to face with a young security guard who is guarding the door. It is Boo, who was scared that he couldn't get any sleep last night. When he sees us, he instinctively takes out his walkie-talkie to try to notify everyone else. Suddenly, a wooden stick hits him hard on the back of the head. Donk! Thud! After the young security guard falls slowly to the ground, I see Shizukara standing there behind him. This way, follow me! We follow Shizukara into a van parked by the road. Shizukara, you can't keep picking on the same poor guy like this. Look at what you've done to Boo. You don't understand. Of course you gotta target the soft ones. What's more, if people can keep exploiting the same group of suckers, why can't I target the same guy once or twice? I see a police car pass us as we reach an intersection. We can relax now that the cops are here. We'll leave everything to them now. Kiri closes her eyes and leans back against her seat without saying anything. I know she's still worried about the animals back there. Pardon me. Shizukara leaves after taking us to Seoul. Sarah and Ryan have been worried, so I tell them a summary of everything that has happened recently, but don't elaborate on the more dangerous parts. I stay and have dinner with everyone that night. After I have my fill of food and drink, Ryan suddenly walks next to the bonfire. Oh, is little Ryan going to perform a magic trick for us all? Perform a trick! Perform a trick! I do have a performance for everyone, but it isn't magic. I have prepared this with some of the other children. Are you all ready to enjoy the show? Everyone is naturally happy to watch the performance. They clap and ask them to start sooner. Even I sit up straight and look at them expectantly. Ryan wears a black cloak and starts cackling like a bad guy. A child wearing wings on his back and a red hat on his head emerges from the crowd and runs around in front of Ryan, looking like a happy and free little red-crowned crane. Ryan follows the child quietly while the child runs around. Suddenly, Ryan grabs the little red-crowned crane hard when he is off guard and locks him in a cage that Ryan has prepared in advance. The little red-crowned crane huddles in a corner of the cage and begs for mercy while Ryan laughs happily. At this time, a girl with a whip rushes over and starts fighting with Ryan without saying a word. They seem to be evenly matched, and when the fight becomes a stalemate, another child appears from the side. Unless I'm mistaken, the mask he's wearing looks like my face. After I join the fight, Ryan loses to us, and the two heroes save the red-crowned crane together, winning everyone's applause. I instantly understand that the story Ryan and the other children are performing is what Kiri and I have been doing recently. After the performance ends, Ryan motions for everyone to quiet down when they are clapping and cheering, and then he points to Kiri and me. Actually, it's thanks to Kiri and the world's bravest and kindest Onesama Lugi that the other children and I came up with this performance. The story is adapted from the true story of two people who bravely rescued a little red-crowned crane. I also heard that a certain lady from Countless Springs also helped out. If I had known about this in advance, I would have tagged along to see her beauty for myself. Although Ryan doesn't say it explicitly, everyone understands what he wants to say. The reason Kiri has been going to Countless Springs is to save the red-crowned crane. After understanding that they had misunderstood Kiri this time, several people who are usually quite straightforward get up immediately and walk over to Kiri to talk to her. Youngster, I knew I was right about you. Huh? I look up in the direction of the voice and see the elderly man who helped me with ticket inspections the other day. He could have gotten enough rest over the last few days, as he looks much better now. He smiles as he talks to me and sits down slowly next to me. With my old arms and legs, it's getting more and more difficult to sit on the ground. Why don't I help you sit on the chair over there? No, that's unnecessary. I came to talk to you on behalf of all the old people here. I killed 5 of you in the trolley problem. Huh? After watching Ryan's performance, we asked Sarah about a few things and found out that Kiri and you have been working hard to save wild animals these days. When the others in the group said bad things about Kiri, I already told them that Kiri is a good child. See? I wasn't wrong, right? Yes, you were absolutely correct. The elderly man looks at Kiri, who's chatting with the others while standing on the other side, and then pats me on the shoulder. Anyway, it's all thanks to you. Things have been hard for Kiri these last few years, as she's as stubborn as a donkey. That she can talk and laugh with everyone like this proves that you've done a good job. Youngster, you're a little flame that lights up Seoul. You don't look special, but you're the reason why Seoul's bonfire burns brightly. You're flattering me and giving me way too much credit. You don't need to be so formal with me, right? Kiri is here, so I won't get in your way. The elderly man smiles and waves at someone behind me. Then he stands and walks away. When I turn around, I see that Kiri is sitting down next to me. Thanks. You're welcome. Actually, I didn't do too much. No, you have done a lot. And everyone came to apologize to me for misunderstanding me earlier. Actually, they didn't need to apologize to me, because this incident wasn't anyone's fault. The reason why I didn't tell them in the beginning is that I didn't want to be a burden to everyone because of something I wanted to do personally. I didn't expect to create such a big misunderstanding. I even made you all worry about me. If you didn't help me out this time, this matter might have escalated so much that I can't deal with it. No matter what, I have to thank you properly and express my gratitude. I take the drink she hands me and clink glasses with her. The drink seems to be a special drink that is cool and delicious with herbal fragrance and is definitely not poisoned. Suddenly, my phone starts vibrating. I look at the incoming call and see that it is the police officer I reported the crime to. Under Kiri's expectant gaze, I answered the phone. Is this Lugi? Yes, that's me. Alright, you can relax. I'm just calling to let you know that we've cracked down on the wildlife trafficking den that you reported. Although several people are still on the run, we've identified where they are with the clues we have, and they will be arrested soon. We've sealed that warehouse because it is suspected of harboring criminal evidence. All the... come on. All the animals inside the warehouse have been handed over to wildlife rescue agencies, except for a few Tibetan foxes that were too sick and no longer had any vital signs by the time we arrived at the scene. As for the other animals, those 2 little red-crowned cranes we specifically mentioned before are safe, so don't worry. Alright, we have also moved the red-crowned crane in Barrel Blue over to the rescue agencies with the other animals. The resonant voice of the police officer is loud and clear in the night, so Kiri, who is next to me, also hears everything clearly. Lugi, can you ask about that little cheetah for me? Excuse me, there's a young cheetah among the animals. Is it still well? A cheetah? Oh, there are too many animals. Hold on, let me ask one of the vets of the rescue agency for you. Hello? You still there? Yes, I'm here. I just went to check up on the cheetah with the vet. The young cheetah is a little malnourished, but it's not too serious because it was sent here in time. You don't need to worry about it. If there's nothing else, I'll be hanging up. A silk banner will be sent to your home in a few days to commend you for your contribution to Wonhan City. Huh? There's even a silk banner? Can you send it to Seoul instead then? Seoul? Is that the touring troupe? Yeah, I didn't do this alone. This honor belongs to everyone. Alright, I understand. After hanging up, I see Kiri next to me hugging Mojito, who had come over at some point, with a soft smile on her face. When she sees that I've hung up, she reaches out with her other arm and wraps it around my neck, and pulls my head over so that our 2 heads and Mojito's head are right against each other. Kiri's merry laughter tells me that she's very happy right now, even happier than when the others realized they had misunderstood her. And there we have it. The autumn wind blows indeed. And we had a happy end after all. It all started in a mahjong dojo. And we had one choice. Do we pawn here? Or do we keep our hand closed? We kept our hand closed. And that led to us meeting Shizukara and Omu, who then helped us save the animals. I am actually now curious what the other path is, but I'ma be honest, it is incredibly tiring to speak and read for such a long period of time. I think it is good reading practice because I want to get better. However, it just takes a lot of time. I'm just really proud of myself that I actually was able to read all of the chapters in the bottom path. But hey, that's gonna be it for this video. I hope you enjoyed listening to me read out some stuff. And this is, I think, also gonna be the last video for a while, or at least in this what am I even saying? This event. Because I'm not gonna be reading anymore. I have to play some mahjong. I think yeah, look at this. There's still, I want this so I can claim stuff over here. And my quests are completely full. Alright, then see you in the next one. Take care, and also take good care of yourself. Bye.